competition entries. So the whole idea of this was based on the Small Blessings project to get you all in a kind of amuletic mood. As Heather just said, I think if we go for taste plus looks equals an average, and that's your winner. So if you just put a little mark, a little tally on the paper next to the cake that you like best, and then we'll see who wins. Randomly, I think I won.
Thank yourself.
I think the project's been a success, and we've met all the targets we said we would, and that has to be the main starting point to measure success by. And like everything we do here, we always tend to be quite ambitious in what we can achieve with a project, and we spot all these other opportunities for doing extra things. So we've tried to really maximise the value of the funding we've got and tried to go in slightly different directions. And that's been one of the really good things about DDF funding. It's for a short period of time, which has implications in itself about what you can achieve, but it also means that you can trial things. And from my point of view, that's really relevant in terms of trialling new technologies. So it gives us a chance to experiment with things, in this instance, like blogging, like using QR codes, running a public competition, and using social media to advertise that. These are all things we've never done before and might not work in the bigger scheme of things, but in a period of 6-7 months you can roll them out, see what the response is like, evaluate them, and see whether it's worth sticking with that for the future.
I think firstly it's incredibly important to be able to fund projects like this so that it's providing better access for collections which otherwise could be never viewed or never let the public have access to, because all the objects which we've updated on the catalogue will go eventually online, so it will be an online database with photos hopefully, so that members of the public or researchers can have a look through. So that I think is incredible, to provide at least 2,500 plus more objects for the public to be able to access, and think that's really, really important.
Yeah, I think because of the sheer variety of the types of things that have been classed amulets, I think it's just, I'm like a massive fan of amulets now. I think they're just such interesting objects, and you really get so much from them, and especially this collection, it's like a snapshot of certain belief systems and folklore ideas, late 19th, early 20th century. I really enjoy cataloguing and working with the objects, but it's frustrating kind of having to just get through the numbers. We've done over 2,500 objects now, and it's just would be nice if we had a bit more time to kind of reflect and research on, and find out really what they are. So
I think that's where we differ slightly, because I have enjoyed researching what we can with the object, but that's where it would really stop with me, and I prefer doing the collection management side of things, so ensuring that it has been catalogued properly and packed. And I think I prefer the hands-on side of things, whereas I think you were much stronger at doing all the research and dedicating time to research, coming in the next day going, did all this research last night on this object, which used to scare me a little bit. It's going to be really hard leaving, especially when you work so closely with people and with objects. I think it's really hard. It's going to be very sad to leave, and to leave the Pitt Rivers as well. It's been brilliant working here. It is like a big family working all together, and everybody's behind the project. I think that's the thing I've really found amazing, is that every single person here is behind the project, interested in the project, and wanting it to succeed. I think that's brilliant. It just sums up the ethos of the museum, I think.
I'm quite gutted that it's coming to an end. It's coming to an end for most people, but in terms of the museum's backlog, it's not coming to an end. So for me, it's not done, but the project is. It's been fantastic to know that Alice and Rosanna are going to go off and have this has been a really good thing for them to have experience of doing. And I mean, they're incredible. They've been amazing. They've really every day worked at it, and it's pretty monotonous work, especially when you know that the stuff is interesting, but you do not have the time to find out any more about it. I think it's really tragic that we can't keep them on. I think that's the worst thing about project work, is that you just can't. If the money's not there, it's not there. I mean, they're a huge asset to the museum, and also from our point of view, we've trained them. So actually, the next time we have a project, potentially we have to train new people, which is good, but also a lot more time consuming. So it'd be amazing, and people get more and more experience. So it would have been lovely to be able to keep them on.
The other thing, I suppose, that I should particularly mention about grants, such as one for Small Blessings, is that they bring new people into the museum. They bring younger people into the museum, people who come in with new ideas, new challenges to us. So they also have a kind of refreshing capacity across a museum, and we hope leave the museum, if they do leave and we don't manage to hang on to them, leave the museum to take what I think are a good set of working practices to other museums. So to that extent, we've had a fairly substantial sort of museum training role, because graduates from the programs that we run and people who have worked on grant funding programs within the museum have gone on to take very senior positions in museums all over the world, as well as across this country.
One thing we can take away is that we are protected against absolutely everything. So we have all the luck in the world. We can't get any diseases. We're good. So I think that's one thing we can take away.
Yeah,
we're going to be safe for life.